Shalom, Mashpaka. What's good? What's good? Let's see, we got a few peeps in here. Let's get this thing out into the algorithm. Like, share, comment, right? Do what you do. Let's get this thing out there. We got a hot topic tonight. Another hot topic. I'm gonna give y'all about 2 minutes to share and like. Let me check these likes. All right, we got some likes. Hey, throw a shout out if you're in the room. You know what I'm saying? Let's get this thing cracking. Shalom, fam. Throw a shout out if you're in the room. Let's get this thing started. All praises, Shalom, sis. Sister Tanya, always good to have you. Always good to have you in the house. Shalom, Mashpaka. All right. Let me first and foremost want to give call halal Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. That's all praises to the Most High God in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, who the world knows as Jesus Christ, right? Yahweh Shai Hamashiach in the Hebrew. Okay, y'all see the title, right? Let's go here. Let's do this. Let me share my screen. All right. Y'all see the title, the Israelite Diaspora, right? The Israelite Diaspora. Now, or Diaspora, however you want to pronounce it, right? Tomato, tomato. So look, here's the thing. I know a lot of brothers is pretty well versed in the diaspora of the Southern Kingdom, but when it comes to the Northern Kingdom, there's a bit of confusion, right? Especially from, you know, these so-called Negro only brothers, right? And, you know, we'll get into that. But I want to start with that premise, right? Of we just going to go through, you know, the diaspora of the Northern Kingdom of Israel and how they, you know, where they went from in the land and where they were in the land and, you know, how they ended up in the Americas. So we're going to go over that real quick, and we're going to keep it like the title of these segments, biblical fundamentals. We're going to keep it to the fundamentals. And again, we got this slideshow, and I think I figured out something, right? So peep game. I think I figured it out. I can go full screen on this, right? Absolutely. There we go. I can go full screen with it, right? The Israelite diaspora. Okay. Now, just like any lesson, I want to start with some background, right? Before I get started, oh, here we go. All praises, Sister Tanya, the water for that generous donation, right? All praises. We appreciate you. Hey, we need that promo. We need that promo, sis. We need these classes to get out there to the masses, right? Feed our sheep. Feed the sheep. Feed Yahweh Shai sheep. Salakia, right? That's the whole purpose. Okay, so y'all see the title, the Israelite Diaspora, right? Now, like I said, we're going to focus on the Northern Kingdom. But out the gate, I want to get into some background. Okay. Some background and, you know, typical caucasity, right? They come up with their pseudoscience and publish books and, you know, spread their propaganda throughout the world. And I'm pretty sure, everyone has heard about, racial classification, right? But the European or the Eurocentric ideology of race or the modern construct of race is pseudoscience at best. I will go even further to say that it's actually propaganda. It's a ploy aimed at making the white man or the Caucasian man seem superior to all the other races, right? And then keeping the Israelites at the bottom. So we're going to go through this. Now, one of the first things I want to talk about is this idea of a mixed race, right? Like I said, that's a modern construct. It is not biblically based, right? All praises. We got Sakari's, you know what I'm saying? Sakari Central Valley, you know what I'm saying? All praises, right? Hey, I heard them boys was out there hooping earlier. I got to hear about that one next time we talk, right? I wonder who got skills out there. Okay. But yeah, back to the lesson, right? The construct or the concept of mixed race is not biblical. That is a Western, Eurocentric, white supremacist construct. Mixed race, right? It goes back to the Aryans and the Nazis and such, of this idea of some kind of pure blood. All right. You ever heard of the term, if you got 1 ounce or 1%, 1 drop of Negro blood in you, then you're Negro, right? Like those slave owners, that's their whole mantra, right? But look, it's white supremacy, right? We know biblically you are who your father is. You see what I'm saying? It's real simple. Real simple. All right. Matter of fact, let's start it out with a scripture. All right. Let's start this thing out with a scripture to get cracking. Let's get in the spirit of it. Right? You are who your father is. Okay. So let's get to it. Y'all know where we're going with it. All right, we're going to go to Numbers. Salakia. All right. We're going to go to Numbers 1 and 18. Okay, let's just get this off. Let's get this thing cracking with a little light scripture, right? The basics. We already know in Israelite culture, right? Your tribe, your inheritance, your heritage, your lineage, your genealogy is determined by your father, right? So let's get Numbers 1 and 18. It's the book is Numbers 1 and 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward by their polls, right? It's point blank simple. It's basic. It's basic, right? Our tribe, our heritage of being Israelites is determined by the bloodline of our fathers, right? Point blank simple. You see what I'm saying? Now, I don't know what it is, Talmudic or, some kind of wicked understanding that the so-called small hats got, where, you're Israelite because of your mom. Lord knows where that comes from. I do believe it's a Talmudic traditions of men, right? Whatever it is wicked because it goes against the word of the Most High. Okay, so this concept of mixed, it doesn't exist in Israelite heritage. If your father's an Israelite, you're an Israelite. You understand? So let's get into it. Let me get back to this slideshow. Okay. Bear with me here. There we go. Okay. Now, and I put this image up, and once again, Akim and Aqua, if there's a link in the description for this presentation, right? For this slideshow. I'm gonna repost it in this chat so that you can, you know what I'm saying? You can have this as a take home to go take with you and review the information at depth, right? In depth, because I got some links to some articles and so on and so forth. So look, a lot of these wicked concepts and ideologies is Caucasian pseudoscience. Okay. For one, you see, I put the skulls up, right? And they've got Caucasian, Mongolian, Malayan, Ethiopian, American. It's ridiculous to think that some Edomite took a bunch of human skulls and thought he could determine all of God's creation and who belongs to what. Preposterous, the caucasity, right? But on top of that, to select categories, right? 5 categories of people. 5 categories of people, when biblically we know that there's well over a dozen nations listed post-diluvian or after the flood. You see what I'm saying? Nearly 2 dozen. I believe it's at least 18 or more listed as nations that were existing, right? Descendants of the survivors of the flood, post-diluvian, right? Listed in Genesis chapter 10 and 11. You see what I'm saying? So it's preposterous for these Europeans to come up with this stuff, but you know, Esau is going to be Esau. And a lot of wicked ideology comes from this kind of pseudoscience. Like you'll hear a lot of these Negro onlys talk about the Native Americans are Mongoloids, that they came over to Bering Strait, right? Just, I mean, not even based in reality. So we're going to get into it where they get this stuff from. So let me go back to this. I'm going to actually go to the article. If you click on this image, right, it'll take you to this article that I'm about to go to. Okay. Double check, make sure y'all can see this. Let me zoom in on this a little bit. Okay. We'll start with this. Okay. John Blumenbach and the classification of human races. Okay. Overview. John Friedrich Blumenbach, 1752 to 1840, was a prominent German anatomist and early anthropologist who played a major role in elevating science above racial prejudice, right? Look, they trying to give him his flowers, talking about he elevated science above racial prejudice. What he did is he put lipstick on a pig, right? Because we're going to get into it. And towards science objectivity. Objectivity, I mean, the caucasity is just through the roof. His dissertation on the unity of mankind, 1795 publication, still recognized for its quality and sound scientific approach to the study of human variation, is considered the starting point of anthropology. So we're going to read this, and I want you to get an idea and understanding of just how confused, dazed and confused that the Edomites are. They consider this the starting point of anthropology and, you know, a sound scientific approach. Let's look at the origins of where this thing come from, right? As a professor of medicine at the University of Göttingen, Blumenbach was an influential teacher and respected researcher, right? So we're going to let's get into some other stuff here. Okay, the background on this story. One of the first, so let me make sure y'all can see. Okay. All right. It says, one of the first classifications of mankind was made by Carl Linnaeus. You know, he's from 1707 to 1778, the father of taxonomy in Systema Naturae, right? In this work, Linnaeus followed both continental geography and a color scheme that divided man into white European, right? Dark Asiatic, red American, and black Negro, right? So you see it's already got the adjectives attached, right? We're going to get into that. See what I'm saying? Calling people red and black. Interesting. Okay. White, red, dark, and black. Very interesting. Okay. In the style of the times, many of the characters used by Linnaeus to classify his races were quite subjective and unscientific, such as hopeful Europeans, sad and rigid Asiatics, irascible American natives, and calm and lazy Africans. Unreal. The caucasity is just, it permeates, right? In 1749, French naturalist Georges Buffon, right, also formulated a classification scheme to distinguish between types of humans. He envisioned 6 varieties, adding the Lapps or polar group and the Tartars or Mongolians to the European, American, South Asian, and Ethiopian divisions, but similarly included derogatory adjectives as descriptors of this race, of these races, right? Other attempts at classification were also simplistic and subjective, such as Miner's 1793 reference to all nations being derived from 2 stocks: the handsome white peoples, oh my goodness, these devils, including the Celts, Samaritans, and Oriental nations, right? So they just put everybody in white, and the ugly dark peoples, which consisted of the rest. Unbelievable, right? By the 19th century, scientists were becoming more aware of the need for objectivity and the importance of using actual physical characteristics, right? So the ridiculous root of this concept or this construct is, it would be laughable if it wasn't so damn sad, right? And vice versa. Conversely, it's so damn sad that it's laughable. You got to laugh at this, right? But these are the people, right? Esau, who thinks that they know what they do, and they got the nerve to write academic journals about this kind of stuff, this kind of nonsense, right? And then now it's bigging up Blumenbach, right? About he was greatly influenced by natural history lectures and, discussions of exotic places and peoples, right? He began his renowned private collection of biological and ethnographic objects and articles, which included the skulls of people from around the world in their artworks and literature. Let me stop on that for a minute. Let me stop on that for a quick sec. This fool collecting human skulls in the name of science. What a sick and demented race of people, right? And I'm talking about Edomites. See what I'm saying? Good Lord. Okay. So while Blumenbach incorporated basic differences in skin pigmentation and hair color in his study, he also relied heavily on facial features, shape of teeth, and skull morphology to identify 5 human races consisting of Caucasian, Malaysian, Ethiopian, American, and Mongolian, right? So, that's pretty close to modern day, right? The Caucasians' modern day construct of racial classification, right? Caucasians, Malaysians, which is basically, like the islanders and the others that they can't classify. Ethiopians, basically the Africans. The American would be the natives, right? And the Mongolians would be the Asians, right? Chinese, Japanese, and such. Unbelievable, right? unbelievable that this base beast of an Edomite is considered to be a well-respected, scientifically respected. And they're saying it's scientifically objective and based on physical data. Let's just take a closer look at some of the criteria, right? He incorporated differences in skin pigmentation, hair color, facial features, shape of teeth, and skull morphology. Let's just take a minute and think how ridiculous that is, right? The shape of your teeth can vary based on your diet or injuries, or, if you don't take care of your teeth, right? Your skin color within my own nuclear family, between my brother and myself, our skin colors vary. My brother's damn near high yellow. I'm a deep red, I would say, right? So, we all shades of brown, right? Mixed with a little different tint, the Israelites. And the Edomites are the only people on the face of the earth that lack pigmentation. They're going around the earth, right? And they're studying these exotic people when they're the ones that's exotic. They're the ones that's odd. But the caucasity of them to put out this kind of propaganda is just beyond me. But what can you expect from the devil? See what I'm saying? Let's get into this. All right. I think that's about enough of that article for now. If you want, you can go read into it, right? Study your enemy. You see what I'm saying? And understand where a lot of these modern constructs come from, because it's beyond ridiculous. And like I said, you go to matter of fact, let me put another link in the chat right now. Okay. Link to slideshow. All right. There we go. That's a link to the slideshow in the chat. Also got a link in the description. So y'all, you could download, follow along, take it home with you, and, delve into it in depth at a later time at your leisure, right? So yeah, pseudoscience, right? And a lot, I'm going to focus in on kind of the Negro only crowd today, only because, every now and then we'll run across a Negro only, and it burns me to the core to hear these Negroes singling out my Northern Kingdom brothers, right? But yet they staking they claim, when in actuality, it is 10 times easier with physical evidence, artifacts, historical documents, books, right? It is easier to prove Northern Kingdom than it is to prove Southern Kingdom. Good Lord. Reason being is because Northern Kingdom still has a connection with some of their pre-colonial artifacts and history, right? And they dwelled there pre-colonial, right? Most of the Southern Kingdom, we were detached. We were separated from our pre-colonial existence, brought over to the side of the world and detached from all of our belongings, our family, our history, our records. You see what I'm saying? We got that, what they call the wall of slavery for a lot of the Southern Kingdom. That includes Judah, that includes Benjamin, that includes Levi, right? So you got to understand, I'll reiterate this point. There is a vastly greater amount of physical, tangible evidence that links the Northern Kingdom back to the motherland, Israel, than it does for Southern Kingdom. But for some odd reason, you always got the random Negro only, right? And on the flip side, somehow there's Latino only too, but that's just the oddest thing I've ever heard. See what I'm saying? So like I said, go ahead, click that link, and study your enemy at your leisure, right? Let's get to the next slide on this. Let's get into some scriptures. Okay. You know, pretty dope picture of the brother Moses, right? See what I'm saying? The brother Moses. Okay. The high priest Moses, right? So look, a lot of these Negro onlys will sit there and say, you know, you're a mamzer if your mom is not an Israelite. If that ain't the dumbest damn thing I ever heard, right? Calling someone a mamzer because their mom is not Israelite, well, you're going to have a problem with the lineage of Christ. You also going to have a problem with the lineage of the Levites. Because guess what? Let's look and see what one of Moses' wife was. I mean, his first wife was Egyptian. And it makes sense because the Israelites lived in Egypt. A lot of us, right, intermingled with the mixed multitude. The mixed multitude came with us out of Egypt during Passover, right? During the first Passover. So Moses' first wife was Egyptian, you know, because Moses had a high position in Egypt, right? He had a high position in Egypt, but then, you know, once he did what he needed to do and broke camp from the Egyptians, and, you know, while we was escaping Egypt, he married a Midianite woman. You see what I'm saying? But the children, the product of that marriage, his sons were still Levites. You understand? Let's get into that real quick. Let me get some scripture going. Some scripture going here. We're going to go to Exodus. Matter of fact, I knew I put Exodus 2. Yeah, we'll go to Exodus 2 first, and then I'll circle back to Exodus 4. All right. Exodus 4 is just supplemental to Exodus 2. So let's get Exodus 2. All right. Previous chapter. Exodus 2, and we're gonna go from I believe we'll start 16. Yeah, we'll go 16 to 22. Exodus 2, starting at verse 16. We'll start at 15, right? Because, you know, we know the story about Moses killing the Egyptian who was vexing his Israelite brother, right? So Moses, after he did that, he escaped to Midian. Okay, so let's get this account. All right. It's the book of Exodus, chapter 2, verse 15. Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses. And just for context, Moses had killed an Egyptian. All right. Y'all know that story. All right. If not, go back to Exodus and read. You feel me? Exodus 2 and 15. Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses. But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian. And he sat down by a well. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away. But Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock. And when they came to Reuel, their father, he said, "How is it that ye are come so soon today?" And they said, "An Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us and watered the flock." Right? Moses, oh, charming gentleman, Moses, right? See what I'm saying? And he said unto his daughters, "And where is he? Why is it that ye have left the man? Call him that he may eat bread." And Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moses Zipporah, his daughter. Okay. Zipporah is a Midianitish woman. All right. 22. And she bare him a son, And he called his name Gershom, for he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. Let's look at the meaning of that name. Go in vocabulary, right? Gershom. Okay. That is H1647 Gershom or Garwasham, right? Garsham, right? Garsham in the Paleo pronunciation. And it simply means foreigner, right? The firstborn son of Moses and Zipporah, right? So look, let's get back to the script, okay? Y'all can read into that. So Moses's son by a Midianitish woman is a Levite. In fact, the sons had high positions in the priesthood. You see what I'm saying? Let's get in. Matter of fact, peep game over here. Check out that photo. See what I'm saying? Check out that photo. That's pretty dope. All right. Yeah, Moses' sons were Levites, right? The sons by the Midianitish woman, the son, right? They didn't call them you know what I'm saying, mixed breeds and mamzers. They were priests with high positions in the priesthood at that. You feel me? So that just helps to reiterate the fact of how wicked these Negro onlys are when they try to come up with this kind of stuff. But we have to trace it back to the fact that their mind is tainted by this white supremacist Caucasoid ideology. You understand what I'm saying? This Caucasoid base beast ideology of classification of race and defining nations. You see what I'm saying? These Europeans have gone around the world and drawn lines on maps and claimed it as their own with no legitimate right to anything other than search and conquer. That's what they're good at. Esau is blessed with the sword. Okay. Let's get another example, right? Let's go to Ruth. Before I go to Ruth, we'll go to Exodus 4. Okay. Now we know this is kind of, I don't want to get too graphic, but this is the story of Zipporah, a little bit later. And she circumcised her son. You see what I'm saying? So then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and cast it at his feet and said, surely a bloody husband art thou to me. Verse 24 and 20, Exodus 4 and 26. So he let him go. Then she said, a bloody husband thou art because of the circumcision. Right? So look, and then, they carried on with their business. I just figured I'd add that too to show you that Zipporah, not only did he take her as a wife, but she was making sure that the Israelite covenant was kept of circumcision. You see what I'm saying? All right, let's go to another example. Ruth, the Moabite. And I've even heard some brothers talking about, Ruth is an Israelite. For one, she was purchased. Okay. She was purchased as a possession by an Israelite. Right. Naomi's Boaz's mother, Naomi, facilitated the transaction, but she was the widow of Israelite men in their lineage. So, she was purchased because the nearest relative, the brother of the man that passed without giving her a son, refused to take her. Right. So then Naomi facilitated the ability for Boaz to take her as a wife. You understand? And y'all can go into Ruth, chapter 1, chapter 2, 3 goes into that. I'm going right to the point. in chapter 4. So let's get that. And for y'all that don't know, it goes into the tradition. I believe it's in Exodus 25, the tradition of what goes down when an Israelite man dies and leaves a widow without a son to take the inheritance, right? The dead Israelite man, by law, his brother, right? His closest kin, his next brother, has to take that wife and give her a son so that that man's name can carry on in Israel and his inheritance is not disturbed, right? So let's go into this verse. Okay. Moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of Malon, right, which is the brother that passed, have I purchased to be my wife, right, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance, that the name of the dead be not cut off from among his brethren, and from the gate of his place. Ye are witnesses this day. And all the people that were in the gate and the elders said, we are witnesses. The Lord make the woman that is come into thine house like Rachel and like Leah. Right? They're gonna make Israelites, which two did build the house of Israel. And do thou worthily in Ephrath, and be famous in Bethlehem. Right? So real basic, real simple. It's straightforward. It's plain upon tables, right? So we'll go to another example in Second Chronicles, right? And this is dealing with King Solomon, right? Now, mind you, Ruth, right, married Boaz, and Ruth is actually King David's great-grandmother. You understand? She's King David's great-grandmother. Okay? So watch your mouth when you're talking about who's an Israelite and who's not, if you come in with this pseudoscience. Because if you're talking about mamzers and mixed race, your mind is polluted with this Western European pseudoscience of white supremacy. Okay? You are who your father is. All right, let's go to Second Chronicles. Second Chronicles 12 and 13. So King Rehoboam strengthened himself in Jerusalem and reigned. For Rehoboam was 41 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 17 years in Jerusalem, the city which the Lord had chosen out of all of the tribes of Israel to put his name there, and his mother's name was Naamah, an Amorites. Naamah, an Amorites. So let's unpack this. King Rehoboam, right? King Solomon's son, his mother, the only wife of Solomon that is actually named in the Bible, right? And she's named because of this important lineage, right? She's the mother of a king. She's a queen mom, right? Queen mom. I think there's only two heathen queen mothers in that I can think of, right? That would be Naamah and is it Jezebel? Somebody in the chat help me fact check that, right? But yeah, the Ammonitis is the mother of a king, right? King Solomon married an Ammonitis, had Rehoboam, who sat on the throne. Okay, just simple examples here. So, I just want to give you some quick little points to go to for people who come up with this foolishness. And so you got to study your enemy. I really want y'all to start with the foundation of understanding how these Europeans came up with these constructs and how it's not biblical. And when people come up with things like Negro only and Mamzer, you know that their mind is poisoned by the devil. by the devil's propaganda. Okay? Understand that. So those are just 3 quick examples. Okay? Let's carry on here. Let's go to the next one. All right. The Samaritan woman at the well. And why do I go here? Well, I go here because it's going to lead us into the point I'm going to make for this segment of these fundamentals, which is the Northern Kingdom diaspora, right? How did they get over here? Where did they come from? Why weren't they in Jerusalem in great numbers during the time of Christ? And we're going to get into that, right? So everybody knows, the story of in John chapter 4 of the Samaritan woman, right? Let's get that scripture real quick so we can do the background on this. John chapter 4. Let's get that. Four and 12. We'll start at 11. Okay, we'll get right to the point. Like I said, I'm not going to go and delve deep into any one topic. You got the take home slideshow to go over, you know what I'm saying, at your leisure and depth. But we all know these things. I'm drawing this, connecting these dots, right? So follow me. John chapter 4, and we'll start at 11. Okay. The woman said unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou that living water, right? So Christ is telling this woman, if she dealt with him, she would have living water, right? And then this is her response. Art thou greater than our father Jacob, which gave us the well, and drank thereof himself, and his children, and his cattle? Okay, so this lets you know she's saying, she's doing this possessive our, right? This plural possessive, our father Jacob, meaning she's an Israelite woman, right? A Northern Kingdom woman. And, let's go back up a little bit. Part of the point, I'm sure y'all know, but I just want to be thorough just in case anyone doesn't, right? So look, this woman, right? Verse 9, John chapter 4, verse 9. Then said the woman of Samaria unto him, How is it that thou, being a Jew, asketh drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans, right? So we understand why that happened, right? Because during the time of Rehoboam, the kingdom split. Northern Kingdom started dealing with the Assyrians, and then eventually were taken captive by the Assyrians, right? Now, we're going to get into the story of Second Esdras. I'm going to land the plane around the whole story of Osiris and the Northern Kingdom, the 10 lost tribes journey over to this side of the earth. But I want you to understand, it was circa 770, sometime in 8th century BC, during the reign of King Salmanassar, right? Salmanassar is the Assyrian king who took the Israelites from Samaria, right, further into the Assyrian land, more into where's modern day Persia near the Euphrates, right? Why did Salmanassar take the Israelites with them that he took? Why? Because, and y'all can go and you're gonna have to do some research and find some history on the Assyrian lineages and kings and what went down. But long story short, Salmanassar didn't see eye to eye with his brother, right? His biological brother. And the brother, right, ended up taking over rulership in Assyria, and Salmanassar bounced, but he took Israelites with him. Now, there were Israelites that stayed behind, obviously, because 7 centuries later, Here, 7, almost 8 centuries later, here's this woman in Samaria who is an Israelite. You understand? So you got to understand how the diasporas work. There's always a remnant left behind. There's always something moved from this place to that place and then relocated and repopulated. You see what I'm saying? So look, I want to show you something interesting though. I would like to show you something interesting. Let's go back to the slide. You see this image right here? It's a stained glass image, right? Meaning an actual stained glass on a church. And lo and behold, there's a story behind it. The Samaritan woman. We'll get into that real quick. Quick diversion. And like I said, you got your take home, right? You got your take home slideshow. If you click on this image, it will take you to this article. All right. From the LA Times. Lord willing, they let me read it because, you know, it's subscription based. But I think they let you read one or two. All right. Jesus with dark skin? An old stained glass window in New England stirs up questions. Boy, these crackers having a fit. The actual truth is displayed and they having a fit. Right? Limited time offer, $1 for 6 months. I figured as much, right? No thanks. Right? A nearly 150-year-old stained glass window showing a dark-skinned Jesus has been rediscovered in a former church in Rhode Island. Okay. Interesting. You see what I'm saying? So people know, these crackers know what the real deal is. Let's read a little bit. The window was rediscovered by Hadley Arnold, co-founder of a Los Angeles-based climate tech startup called Diving Lab, when she and her family bought the long-closed St. Mark's Episcopal Church in Warren, Rhode Island, to convert the building into their home. An expert on the history of stained glass art said the window, installed in 1878, is the oldest known public example she has seen of stained glass in which Christ is depicted as a person of color. Okay. This window is unique and highly unusual, said Virginia Reguin, a professor emerita of humanities at the College of the Holy Cross in Worcester, Massachusetts. I have never seen this iconography for that time. Now, that's a key word, iconography, right? If you Google, images of Black saints in the Vatican, it's a plethora of iconography of biblical representations of biblical characters that are painted black, and they store it in the Vatican. There's Black Mary, Black Jesus, Peter, Paul, you name it, right? That's another word for iconography, and there's a very expensive book called Russian Icons that shows a lot of the, I guess, 16th, 17th century around that monarchy, or maybe earlier than that, right? Maybe 14th even century monarchs throughout Europe and so on and so forth, such Black. But yet here we are, modern day America, the caucasity. It's odd and it's unique and highly unusual, right? To see this, but it's the truth. You understand? Get a little bit more of this. It says the 12-foot tall, 5-foot wide window depicts two biblical passages in which women, also depicted with dark skin, appears as equals with Christ, right? I don't know where they get that from, but anyway, just thought that would be an interesting little tidbit for y'all to look into. But yeah, like I said, if we're gonna go to 2nd Ezra next, about the time of Salmanassar, when the 10 lost tribes escaped and made their way to the land of Arthur, right? But this just shows you how the diaspora works, because 7, almost 8 centuries later, there's still a Samaritan woman there, right? The Northern Kingdom is still there, albeit maybe a remnant of the former population, but they're still there, and they you know what I'm saying? They haven't been completely what you call it, eradicated. See what I'm saying? And Christ is reconnecting with his people, because that was his whole premise, is going out there and finding the lost sheep. And you'll notice that early in the ministry, Christ told his disciples, go ye not up to Samaria, and go ye not, anywhere outside of Jerusalem. But his message to them right before the Pentecost, right before he sent them back to Jerusalem to keep the holy day, and the Spirit dealt with them. After the Spirit dealt with them, he told them, go wherever our people are spread, right? It's almost like he had them in training, getting them ready. But then when the Spirit was dealing with them, and these brothers was filled, the Holy Spirit was with them, they was able to go out and venture out, right? But I found this interesting. So it's a little bit of history there. Now, Christopher Columbus, right? Columbus. Yeah, Christopher Columbus, man, right? He has some interesting ties to the Jews, right? Christopher Columbus is actually an Italian, but he sailed, his journey to Arsareth, right? Which historically we know he only touched the Caribbean. He never came to North America, or he never landed on the shores of North America, right? He went throughout the Caribbean, and he dealt initially with the Taino Indians, right? And so this image is a depiction of that, right? And they were wondering who these strange crackers were. You understand? That goes to show you they're in astonishment. Like, man, we ain't never seen people like that before. But these people had been over here, right? Probably what? This was 1400s. They've been over here almost over 2,000 years. You see what I'm saying? And, it's well documented that Christopher Columbus knew about the story in 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, and traveled to Arsareth, or the land never dwelt, where no man dwelt, with Jews, right? With Jews. And think about it. How would he know? How would Christopher Columbus know, right, about 2nd Ezra? Well, he's an Italian. He had connections with the Roman Catholic Church, right? You see the symbology, they got the crosses and all this, all conquering in the name of the cross, right? Wicked. But just imagine, I don't know if the Vatican was officially built around that time. I'm not sure the construction date of the Vatican, but there were documents and archives in Rome, right? Or the Vatican, wherever it is. I don't think the Vatican is in Rome, but the Vatican, right? So of course he would have access to the Apocrypha. And in particular, some may refer to it as the 4th book of Ezra, right? If you look at it as a collective, if you take out the Apocrypha as 1st and 2nd Ezra, but as a collective, it's the 4th book of Ezra. Okay, and let's go to matter of fact, I click on this. Is that just the image? Got a gem for you, right? But we're gonna get back to this. Okay, we're gonna get back to that. Let's go to 2nd Ezra first. Okay, just for some background. Okay, we know the story, right? 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 40, right? Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Osea the king, or Hosea, whom Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive. And he carried them over the waters, and they came into another land. And they took counsel, right? This is what I'm saying. Salmanassar took them out of Samaria into another land over the waters, right? Namely, the Euphrates, all right? But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of heathen and go into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might keep there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. We know this to be a fact, that Northern Kingdom was up in Samaria wilding, okay? Wilding. And that was one of the points of contention that the Jews had with the Samaritans, because of the way they worship. It was wicked, right? Making all kind of groves and falling into idolatry and just being wicked. You see what I'm saying? So that was one of the points of contention, but Christ is the doctor for all that. That's why he could deal with that woman. Christ didn't have no problem dealing with sinners. You understand? So that they might keep their statute which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of 1.5 years. And the same region is called Arsareth. Okay. Now, everybody knows this little passage, right? And we're going to get into Christopher Columbus as it relates to Arsareth. Okay. Found this interesting PDF. And like I said, if you click on that picture, you will get linked to this PDF that I'm reading now. It's pretty interesting. Okay. What's going on here? What we got going on? Re-download it. Okay. All right. This is interesting, right? Okay. It says Christopher Columbus and the participation of the Jews in the Spanish and Portuguese discoveries. Interesting. By Dr. M. Kayserling, right? Translated from the author's manuscript with his sanction and revision. So I'm assuming, it was translated into either Spanish or Latin for Columbus. All right. So y'all can download this, right? And read and understand the mindset of your enemy. Understand the mindset of your enemy, right? So I believe I want to get to page, we'll go to page 15. All right, I'm gonna go to page 15 on this. If it loads up. Come on now. All right, that's page 10. Let's go to page 15. All right. Ten. 14, 15. All right. Like I said, at your own leisure, please download this and breeze through it. It's interesting. I'm just going to pull out a couple excerpts, right? Just a couple excerpts to show you that this is documented, okay? At the height of colonialism, right? It's 15. He said he was also very fond of reading the Bible and the 4th book of Ezra, synonymous with 2nd Ezra, right? Which was probably written by a Jew who lived outside Palestine. Probably, huh? Jeez, these crackers, man. Good Lord. According to his own assertion, the incentive that impelled him to plan his discoveries was not a love of science, but his interpretation of the prophecies of Isaiah. You see? So he knew who these people were. And this is towards the end of colonial conquest, right? the late 19th century, 1840s, right? Where this book is written, but they're writing about their hero Columbus from 400 years prior. You see what I'm saying? So all of this knowledge has been kept by the Edomites all this time. They know. They absolutely know, right? So let's get a little bit more of this. Okay. In Portugal, Columbus Ernest, let's see. He wished to find a new ocean route to the regions of Cathay and Cipango, which were reputed to be rich in gold and spices. They knew this. They was going for the gold. They knew it, right? That's why he went to all of these religious leaders and queens and kings and convinced them, hey, it costs a lot of money, right? It costs a lot of money to sell a fleet across them waters. So, you know, he was commissioned. That was a big commission, right? His own country, Italy, didn't commission him. Portugal passed up on him, and eventually Spain gave him the green light. Because why? He had a plan, right? He had a plan, right, to go over there and plunder the riches of gold and spices. See what I'm saying? Let's get a couple more. Received it. Okay. Like I said, at your leisure, you can go through and read this thing, but I found one other little interesting tidbit. Oh, right here. Okay. Okay, Columbus. Okay, Columbus and his plans. The Portuguese family refused to assist Columbus, right? In May 15, a letter to Ferdinand. God has stricken the king with blindness. Okay, right here. It says, the explorer was greatly exasperated by Giles' refusal, and his anger was particularly directed against the Jew Joseph, to whom he attributed the chief blame in the miscarriage of his plans. So now he's going to blame the brother, right? Because he didn't get his way. Good Lord. All right. In these passages, Columbus states that the king of Portugal sent his physician and astrologer, Joseph, to measure the altitude of the sun throughout Guinea, and that the Jew Joseph gave an account of this mission to the king in the presence of Christopher's brother Bartholomew and many others. Probably Columbus himself was also present. Portugal did not, however, abandon the hope of finding an ocean route to India, so on and so forth, right? So like I said, this is an interesting read, right? This is a very interesting read. Go in, right, at your leisure and delve into it, okay? Delve into it because it gets into the history. It gets into the history, and the Edomites. Slovakia, did I go back? Good Lord. Okay. Right. Yeah, the Edomites know their history. They know our history. Unfortunately, a lot of us don't know our history. But in order to find some of our records, we got to trace back what they wrote down and then find sources that they use. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's a fact that there are more artifacts and archaeological findings, you know, in Latin America than in any other place in the world. Okay, and keep in mind, let's just take a couple examples. In New Mexico, right? In New Mexico, there's an artifact. 1 second. Find a quick example. The Las Lunas stone. Okay. And keep it, it's called the Decalogue stone. Okay. Let me get this Wikipedia article. Right? There you go, Dagar. Los Lunar Stone, right? The Decalogue Stone, which, what is the Decalogue? It's the 10 Commandments, right? It's near Los Lunas, New Mexico, near Albuquerque. We're 35 miles south of Albuquerque. It bears a 9-line inscription carved into a flat panel. The stone is also known as the Los Lunas Mystery Stone or Commandment Rock, right? The stone is controversial in that some claim the inscription is pre-Columbian and therefore proof of early Semitic contact with the Americas. You can't make this stuff up, right? Can't make this stuff up. All I did here, folks, is just I Wikipedia Los Lunas Stone. I'll put this link because I didn't put this link in the actual presentation, right? I will put this in the chat. Los Lunas, it's weird that it says Los Lunas, but whatever, okay? Whatever. It's the name of a city. Los Lunas. Right? The name of that town is the Moons. So, 10 Commandments inscribed on a stone, pre-Columbian, right? Unbelievable, right? But this is just one of many examples of evidentiary archaeological evidence, right? And Puerto Rico probably has the highest concentration for such a small area. The Taino Indian, the descendants of the Tainos in Puerto Rico had a plethora, right? Plethora of Hebrew artifacts. There's artifacts all through Mesoamerica. There's symbology, right? What's the Assyrian ego head, right? Right, we've all seen this symbol, right? This Assyrian symbol. You understand? Now, it's an Assyrian god, right? Now, I see some of my Northern Kingdom brothers in here. We know good and true and well that this same symbology, right, is used not only with the Native Americans in North America, but also in Mesoamerica, right? The same symbology. We understand that same link is used. You see what I'm saying? And it goes to show that these people got this symbolism from Mesopotamia. Why? Because Northern Kingdom was in cahoots and then eventually held captive in captivity by the Assyrians. That's why we see these similarities. You understand? I mean, there's dozens and dozens of more. So this is what I'll do right now. Right, Ali Shai? There's another one. Ali Shai put the right, there's another one. There's the Ohio Decalogue. Okay. Matter of fact, what am I doing right now? Let's go here. The Ohio Decalogue. Now keep in mind that region of Ohio is Native American territory. All right. It's just peep game. The Newark, Ohio Decalogue. Let's just go to Wikipedia. Wikipedia asking for money. It's always like that towards the end of the year, I guess. Towards the end of Esau's year. Okay. The first of these artifacts, popularly known as the Keystone due to its shape, was excavated in June 1860 unlike other ancient artifacts found previously in this region, the keystone was inscribed with Hebrew. It contains one phrase on each side: Holy of Holies, King of the Earth, the law of God, the word of God. You see what I'm saying? The second find came later in November 1860, when Wyrick and his excavation team came across a sandstone box that contained a small black rock within it. The black rock was identified as limestone by geologists Dave Hawkins and Ken Bork of Denison University. On this stone was carved Hebrew text that was translated as a condensed version of the Ten Commandments. The name Decalogue stone comes from the translation of the Hebrew letters that outline the religious and moral codes described in Exodus 20. Okay, you see what I'm saying? There's a plethora, right? There's a plethora. Okay, I see some of my Northern Kingdom brothers is in here. They know what's up, right? Another one is what? Chief Joseph Tablet. Chief Joseph Tablet. I mean, it's a plethora of information. You know, for Negro onlys that want to hate on Mexicans and want to hate on Native Americans and say they're not Israelites. Y'all silly niggas, man. They got more proof than you. Silly ass niggas, man. I can't stand niggas that just can't see how their brain is being poisoned by the Edomites. Hating on your own brother, man. Craziness, madness, but it is what it is. We're in these curses, right? Right? Hinma Tuyala Ket, right? An Americanist orthopoetry, popularly known as Chief Joseph, right? Young Joseph or Joseph the Younger, was a leader of the Walamwat right? Band of Nez Perce, a Native American tribe of the interior Pacific Northwest region of the United States. In the latter half of the 19th century, he succeeded his father, Tuikakas, Chief Joseph the Elder, in the early 1870s. Chief Joseph led his band of Nez Perce during the most tumultuous period in their history, when they were forcibly removed by the United States federal government from their ancestral lands in Walla Walla Valley of northeastern Oregon onto a significantly reduced reservation in the Idaho Territory. Ironic, right? We just went, WOLFPAC just had a group outing in Salakia. I wasn't sharing. The WOLFPAC just had a group outing and we went and watched Killers of the Flower Moon. Great movie. You know, DiCaprio, De Niro, right? Great cast. But the long story short, it's about the depravity of these crackers that was over there murdering our brothers and sisters from the Osage tribe in the Arkansas, Kansas / Oklahoma, where they pushed them back to area. Great movie. You got to go watch it, right? Similar story to this, right? Our brothers and sisters were pushed out by these devils. But let's see here. Okay, series of violent encounters with white settlers, right? Included Joseph Ban to flee, right? Political asylum. All this, man. Crazy. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, go read this stuff, man. Read this stuff. Okay? Do your research. Do your research, because our brothers and sisters on the Northern Kingdom side have been here for a long time. You understand? All right? For a long time, our brothers and sisters have been here. So that's what we're going to do here. What's up with my presentation? Let's go back to the beginning. Good Lord. My computer bugging or what? She bugging, man. She is bugging. She definitely is. Okay. Yeah. So y'all see it, right? The Israelite Diaspora, Chief Joseph Tablet. That's what's wrong with that. Let's do some images. There we go. So yeah, Google Chief Joseph Tablet, and you'll see the inscriptions. All right. Let's get a closer look at that. Pull the rigmarole. Yeah. Like I said, there's a plethora of artifacts on this side of the Atlantic, more so than even in the Middle East, right? Because not only did our people leave from over there 2,600 years ago, more than 2,600 years ago, right? 2,700 years ago plus, okay? But you can imagine, and this is the interesting part, is there's not only artifacts from the Assyrian time frame that tie back to our Hebrew heritage. There's artifacts from Greeks, from Romans, right, with Hebrew on it. There's like Roman crosses with Hebrew. So you got to imagine, we came over here. So why wouldn't we be able to go back and grab some more folks? You see what I'm saying? Like, what's stopping us? If brothers had the wherewithal to sell over here, why couldn't we sell back? See what I'm saying? It was a well-known route. Well-known. Right? Got Brother Ali Ashai lacing us with gems, our Northern Kingdom scholar. Let's look up the Assyrian cuneiform. All right. Assyrian cuneiform. Okay. There we go. Look at that. The Assyrian cuneiform. Let's look at an article on it real quick. Okay. Good old Wikipedia. Begging for money at this time of year. Cuneiform proper is a logo-syllabic script that was used to write several languages of the ancient Near East. The script was in active use from the early Bronze Age until the beginning of the Common Era. Cuneiform scripts in general are marked by and named for the characteristic wedge-shaped impressions, Latin for cunis. See? Which forms their sign. Cuneiform is the earliest known writing system and was originally developed to write the Sumerian language of southern Mesopotamia, right, which is modern-day Iraq. Over the course of history, cuneiform was adapted to write a number of languages in addition to Sumerian, right? Interesting, right? Hittite, Elamite, Old Persian. Interesting. So it tells you right here. Interesting. Look at that. Very interesting. Okay. So I'm gonna post this. Y'all got all these gems that brothers is posting in the chat. Right. And this is what Ali Shai is saying, is that's the writing that was on Chief Joseph's tablet, is this Assyrian cuneiform, which I will post a link. All right. The Assyrian cuneiform is over here in Oregon, right? Come on, man. Y'all stop playing. Stop playing, fool. You understand me? For all y'all Negro onlys, stop hating on my Northern Kingdom brothers, man. Y'all niggas is wicked. Wicked, wicked. You feel me? Wicked. That reminds me of a class I did a while back, you know, set tripping from day one, where I went into the story about when Rehoboam, you know what I'm saying, he was cursed out the gate because of what Solomon did, right? But he made a horrible decision to vex his brothers, right? And his brothers came to him asking him for, you know, some mercy. And he said, you know what? The hell with mercy. I'm going to vex you even more so. And the kingdom split, and the rest is history, right? But yeah, brothers been banging from day one. And that Mexicans is not Israelites. Oh man, Sister Tanya, you over there floating on the freeway? Better get that foot off the pedal, sis. For them smokies get behind you. All right. Be careful out there, sis. All right. How speed, but not too much speed. You get me? Okay. So look, these ignorant Negroes, man, their brain is demented by white supremacy. So deep down inside, they hate themselves. So it's easy for them to hate their brother. You understand what I'm saying? So for all you Negro onlys who want to deny that Mexicans are Israelites, and this to me, I think this is mainly a West Coast thing, particularly a California thing, because of the way things go down with the gangs and the jail system. You know, for a long time it was a heavy divide between blacks and Mexicans in LA, in Southern Cali in particular. But you always hear, oh, Mexicans ain't Israelites. But then common sense, folks. If you saying Mexicans ain't Israelites and the chart is a phony, then what about Gadites? What about the copper colored Gadites that look Negro, but they're not? What about the Arawaks that's over in Dominican Republic, like Big Papi, the baseball player? Look Negro, but he not. There's Ephraimites in Puerto Rico. The Tainos come in every shade, from dark black to high yellow. You got to stop with this colorism and trying to classify your people according to how they look and what their skin color is. Because within your own family, you can have variations of skin tone and hair texture and this, that, and the other, not to mention generations and generations, right? Of, you know, brothers going up there mixing with Assyrian women, or brothers traveling over here, you know, getting them a Midianite woman. Brothers traveling over here got them a Persian woman, right? Joseph, our forefather Joseph, both of his wives were Syrian, right? So you got to get out of this colorized, this, you know what I'm saying, Eurocentric ideology of associating color with race, and understand your history. Understand your history and connect with your peoples. You know what I'm saying, folks? So look, I'm gonna land the plane there. Oh man, Ali Yeshai got nothing but gems, huh? Father Nazario stones. You see what I'm saying? It's foolish for a Negro only to talk shit on Northern Kingdom as far as they claim to be an Israelite, because like I said, it's a plethora of archaeology and history, right? Father Nazario stones is in Puerto Rico, right? Unbelievable plethora of history, right? So look, like I said, this is important info. Make sure y'all get it out there, right? The water to the powerful soldier Ali Yeshai, chiming in, contributing, right? That's what I was looking for. I wanted one of the Northern Kingdom brothers coming here fired up and just busting shots. You see what I'm saying? Busting shots, right? So look, I'm gonna land the plane there. That's about the thick and thin of it. But I'll give a few minutes. Any questions, comments, input, right? I want to make sure y'all, to remind y'all, I'm gonna put another link. Okay. in the description, there is a link to the slideshow, right, with all the supplemental information for this class, right? And like I said, we're going to end up with a collection of these. I just now posted a link in the chat, right? But then there's also, I hate when they do that. They put the comment together like that. Hold on. Link to, gotta send that, then send that, right? Link to slideshow, right? It's in the chat. It's in the description. Get the slideshow. There's a couple articles in there, some images. Is a book, right? Talking about the history of Columbus, interacting with the Jews to get over to this side of the world, because obviously the Jews had an understanding of it. See what I'm saying? That's why I say it's even more so interesting when you not only see Assyrian artifacts, but you see artifacts with Persian, Greek, Roman, right? All throughout the spectrum. All throughout the spectrum, right? So like I said, we got a couple more minutes. I'm going to wait, see if there's any questions, comments, any input, right? But other than that, that's the topic for the night. But I think it might do well to cover the Southern Kingdom as well as a follow-up. Y'all let me know what you think. Throw up a 1 if you think going into Southern Kingdom is worth it, or if it's something that you would, you would prefer to see. Let me know, because, I mean, from my perspective, it's pretty well known about the Southern Kingdom diaspora, but then again, I could be, have my own confirmation bias. You know what I'm saying? Own confirmation bias of stuff that I've read that I know that seems common knowledge. But like I said, this new series is called Biblical Fundamentals. So if that's one of the fundamentals that you want to go over, let me know. Throw some ones in the chat if Southern Kingdom diaspora is a topic you want to hear. In fact, I'm gonna give it till 2 more minutes. If there's any topic, right? All praises. I see a couple ones. If there's any topic that you want to suggest, now's your time. Let me know. While we ride out, I'm gonna make it a smooth hour and 30 minutes. So y'all got about a minute and 40 seconds. Any suggestions, concerns, input? I'm all ears right now. All praises. We got a couple ones in there. Yeah, we just might do that then. We just might do that. Like I said, for the next minute and 20 seconds, I'm hanging out right here. Give me your input, right? We already got some input concerning definitely Northern Kingdom biblical fund, or we just went over the Northern Kingdom diaspora. Probably next week, we'll go over Southern Kingdom diaspora, all right? Biblical fundamentals. Get these fundamentals down. And a lot of the fundamentals, of course, it's knowing your scripture and understanding where to reference it in the Bible, but also knowing, right, historically where to go to, right, to line these things up, to bring these things to the forefront, okay? Connect the dots. All right. All right, Akim, Akwa. Hey, all praises, family. Look, Mashpaka, hour and a half went by quick. You know what I'm saying? Lord willing, it was edifying. Y'all enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? Sister Tanya, drive safe. Don't be too heavy on that pedal. You feel me? I don't want Smokey to get behind you. Take it easy. I mean, look, on the freeways out here, if you're going 75, they'll run you off the road. So 85 ain't too bad. 85 ain't too bad. Hey, ahabatah, sis. You have a blessed night, right? And with that, we can get Kahala Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai Hamashiach and Kwam Yashra.